Well, I'm on an iPad, so it's a limited screen size, unlike a monitor on a computer like you've got.
Well, I see you and I see me, but everybody else is by name.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, my camera's not working for some reason.
You may need to click on your name again.
I'm going to go out and come back in.
Jim, I'm going to put you on mute.
Okay.
Bill McCann's on now. There's Teak.
Hi, Daryl.
Hi, Teak.
Hi, Teak.
My number worked.
For some reason, a lot of this videos are not coming through.
Well, they have to turn on the video. There's a start video on the bottom left on my computer.
Right, mine as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
There's Jeff.
And if the line's through it, then it's not on.
Yeah, for some reason that feature is not working.
Yeah, everyone needs to hit that
Is-
though. They
yeah,
need to hit the videos.
Yeah, it's a little camera on the Apple on the bottom left.
There's Travis.
Yeah, I know that, but it's not working. So
There's Mike.
there's something wrong with the software. They sent out an update, and I don't know if it screwed with people's
There's Ruth.
setups or not.
So, Eric, do you have a start video little camera any place on the screen?
Yeah, there he is. There she is.
Yeah, Teak, I do, and I know where it is and how to use it, but it's not functioning.
Hit it again.
Use my phone. Do you want to use my phone?
Okay, you're muted on audio now.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave and come back on my
Leave
laptop.
and come back. Yeah, good idea.
I'm having to use my iPhone today because my other one is updating for some reason. It decided this was the time to update.
Good. Ruth is on. Danny's picture is there, but she isn't there yet.
Well, it depends on the settings. So sometimes in Zoom, when you connect, it automatically just has your name and a background, and you have to choose to start the video. But you can still hear everything and you can still interact with everyone, even if you don't choose to start the video.
Yeah, I've got Tim's videos not transmitting. And yeah, Tim, you need to
Danny
for
too.
the start video little camera.
And some people choose not to use the video because they may not be wearing pants, or they may just have a bad hairdo.
Or they could be eating, you know, like me.
Well, I'm eating, but I'm not bashful. The meeting we eat in.
Jim, I'm glad to see that you figured out Zoom.
There's Sheena. There's Phil.
So I'm probably only here for a couple of minutes, a little bit behind today, and have some appointments to go to, but I thought I'd stop in for about 10 and say hi.
Hi, Adrian.
Howdy, howdy. Great, my work here is done.
Happy birthday tomorrow, Adrian.
Thank you, sir. You lose track
Happy
after a while.
birthday, Adrian. Hey, the computer down in Honduras is still working great. So
Fantastic.
that setup has worked perfect.
That's awesome. I'm so glad to hear that. That was a fun
Thank
one.
you.
I love this waiting room thing because I could decide whether I wanted Ken to join or not.
Which part is that? Sorry, I muted myself.
You know, Travis, I don't know whether you made the right call there. I mean,
I know it's a good
but-
point. Yeah, it's a good point.
Hey, it's the only time I get to see Brockman ever. I never get to see him. He's always scrolled up in that office of his. He's never out and about visiting our school anymore.
Hey, Ken, I was out there today with the nurses.
Oh, good.
Nobody was in their offices inside. Where were you?
I actually was there yesterday for a bit.
That's what, yeah. But they told me you were going to say that, but
Now I'm just in my little office by myself. Mike, are you back from wherever you were?
Yeah, got back last Saturday.
Oh, good.
So I was in Reno, Ken, seeing my new granddaughter.
That away. Good
Yeah.
spot to be.
It was pretty cool, pretty cool. Now back to reality. And I was
Good
going to
to-
ask you if Brockman still signs your checks, doesn't he? I mean,
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
what do you got to complain about?
I don't see him. They go to direct deposit, and then the wife Janine's got them spent by the time.
There you go.
just better be making sure that you're making those phone calls, Ken. That's all I ask.
We are. That's why we were in yesterday, because some parents won't answer the *6-7. They won't.
Home visits.
Yeah. Yeah. I have a story about home visits. I'll have to tell you with probation, why I quit doing it.
Yeah, I've got a couple
there's a
stories,
firearm.
too.
When you find out the guy's got a firearm behind the door and you're sitting there talking to their kid, and it's like, nah, I don't know.
Muted. Now you're okay. Oh, now you should be on. Now they can hear you.
Okay.
See ya.
Carl, just a flag.
Beans are back.
So just a little information for those of you who don't use Zoom on a daily basis. So in Zoom, only one person can talk at and have the microphone. So if you can keep your mic muted, because otherwise it really does pick up on every little background noise that you make, and then you can't hear the main speaker. It doesn't really work that well for like Pledge of Allegiance and songs, because again, it will only pick up one mic at a time. So we may need to rethink how we do it. Maybe just have Mike speak and then have one person sing. And you can do virtual backgrounds, and that's fun. Daryl Heisler and Carl Garrison, Phil, they're all very good at that. John Matterin might be having one, or he just has a really pretty backyard. And Travis is apparently in Hawaii, so I'm sure he's having a blast.
Oh.
It's Belize.
Oh, I see. So you can also do a video background like Travis. So you can have the palm tree waving in the breeze. And one suggestion that someone sent me, I don't remember who last night, was that we start the meeting 15 minutes early so people can have time to chat before the official meeting begins.
That
So-
that was me, Ruth. That came out of Becky and I were in a meeting last night about membership and how to retain members. And one thing that people are really kind of missing is that fellowship across the table, being able to talk to people, being able to find out what's going on in their life. So Becky had an idea that maybe we could just start 15 minutes early and go from there.
And that just depends on Travis's work schedule, since we're using his account, and whether or not that works for him. So I'll leave that up to Travis, and I'm going to go on mute now.
What I was wondering, we typically start Rotary at noon, but we don't really start the meeting until 15, 20 minutes after. Can we just do it that way?
Yes. So that's the new plan is to start it. Start whenever Travis lets us on, which is normally 10 minutes or so before 12, and then run until 15 after, unless you guys run out of things to talk about, and then we'll start the meeting. So we're going to be a little bit flexible on that. And also, we only have 2 agenda items today. One of them is that Jeff said that the school district wants to know what our plan is going to be for scholarships, because they need to have them by Monday to put them in the book. So we're going to discuss that today, and then we're going to have an open mic afterwards to talk about how people are coping with stay at home. So there's not going to be any politics about what's right or wrong. We just want to hear how people are coping. So that's going to be the agenda today, but really the next 10 minutes or so, I think we should just, if anyone, it's an open mic for the next 10 minutes. Okay, Mike? Okay. Anybody got anything they want to talk about here? One thing that we need to do is we're going to have a meeting. I'll set one up for next week to talk about goals for next year, what we want to accomplish, what we think we can accomplish. And I definitely need Mike and Steve Huggins and Tim Howland and probably Rich Rywick. I can't even talk Rich Rywick and possibly Phil Brockman on that call. But I'll send an email out to everybody. If you want to join us, please do. Just kind of goal set for next year. Okay, I'm going to try to transfer from my iPhone to my iPad. So I'm on one. Let's see what happens when I try to do this. Okay, so anyone else can talk.
It's raining.
Yeah, like hell.
Just looked outside, it's pouring.
You know, one thing I've been thinking about, they have the food bank, of course, that we're trying to help. But I wonder if there are any Rotarians that are in need of some help that we as members could help with. I'd be glad, and I'm sure many would, because some may have no problem with food because of the food bank or whatever, but there may be some utility bills or other problems that they're having. And I realize that most everyone will be hesitant to bring that up, but maybe if someone knows someone in the club who is in need, maybe we could get that word to President Mike's or someone so that we could get that information out so that we don't even need to know who it is, but we could maybe chip in some to help some of those individuals who are in need within the club.
I'm trying to figure out how to get out of this one.
That's either a really sick bird or, yeah, feedback, right? one of the things we're talking about in Toastmasters is this virtual meeting is enabling us to have members from anywhere in the world. And maybe there's a way that we could keep the virtual. Now I've got feedback. Where'd that come from? Anyway, keep the virtual thing going even after we're able to meet again. And I thought of maybe having a couple of cameras set up at the club so that when you're zooming it, you can see the speaker and the audience. It's just something to think about. It may be a way for us to expand our reach, and maybe we could have members from across the globe join our efforts, or at least sit in on the meetings.
Carl, I like that. I was thinking about also just in general making it easier for members to participate. I was driving from long distance away for one of our meetings and listened to the meeting on my iPhone. So I think it also provides flexibility. Maybe people that have a hard time attending, it would be a lot easier for them.
Well, I think if we all thought for a minute or two, we probably could think of somebody that has decent resources that has the heart of a Rotarian, but is not in a position to attend meetings. And if we, maybe we could pull them into the club and they come to 1 or 2 meetings a year, but they catch these Zoom meetings.
Okay, just see, do I have background or am I okay now?
Well, we can see you. You're good.
No, but I just want to make sure. I had to I went from my iPad to my iPhone or whatever, vice versa. And I had to literally shut my phone off because I couldn't get it to stop.
Yeah, there's no feedback on your end.
Okay. So, I mean, I was planning on trying to figure out how to go to meetings when I'm up in Alaska because we have internet in Soldotna. And I was thinking this might be a really easy way to do it. I don't know how long we're going to be doing this in this form, but I would say it's probably going to be at least through August, and maybe longer than that if we all show up for a meeting.
Mike, don't they have a quarantine in Alaska still, 14-day quarantine when you come in?
Yeah, but it's supposed to leave June 1st. So, I think I'm not sure exactly how that works up there, but I think because I have a house up there, I can go to the house, work on the house. I haven't quite figured it out yet, but where they're really worried about is these like in Nome and Barrow and all those little areas where they haven't had any cases. They're trying to keep those clean by not having anybody show up there from out of state. So haven't quite figured it out, but last week I went and got tested and I don't have coronavirus. At least they couldn't find it in me. So I did that so that I could give blood. Some of these things are really short on blood. So that's one of those things that we just forget about, that there's still a lot of people that need blood and stuff. So that's an area that, if you can go get tested and then go up there and you have to make a reservation to go give blood, but it's something that we need to think about. So we're just open, it's 12:15, at least that's what my clock says. So why don't we just start the meeting, and we will go from there, and then we can open back up for discussion. So I'm gonna get up and take my hat off and start the meeting. Okay, welcome to the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. And let me get my cheat sheets out here, because I'm losing it. So, Daryl, are you the prayer today?
Yes, I guess I am. Thank you. Heavenly Father, we bow before thee and we thank thee again for the opportunity of gathering together as Rotarians and guests, and we're grateful for the opportunity of association and of being involved in such a wonderful community and organization. We pray that thou might continue to be with those in leadership positions, that they might make wise decisions in both the health and the economic support of our state, county, and city, as well as the world in general. We pray that we might enjoy the activities of this day and gain from our association, and do so in the name of thy Son. Amen.
Amen. Okay, now I got this little flag I've been carrying around. We'll put it right here. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test, I'm efficient now. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendship, and will be beneficial for all concerned? All right, and I don't know if we have a song or not.
Yes, we have a song.
Okay, so we can sit down and listen to the song.
If you want to take a picture, no, you have to. I'm just gonna do a song. She'll just do the longer version because we don't have a program today, and y'all can listen or hum on your own side with your mics muted.
Some people say man is made out of mud. The poor man's made out of muscle and blood and skin and bone. A mind that's weak and a book that's strong. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. I was born one morning when the sun didn't shine. Picked up my shovel and I went to the mine. Loaded 16 tons of number 9 coal. The straw boss said, well, bless my soul, you load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store. If you see me coming, better step aside. A lot of men did and a lot of men died. One fixed a fire and the other was steel. If the right one don't get you, then the left one will. You load 16 tons. What do you get? Another day older and deeper in debt. St. Peter, don't you call me 'cause I can't go. I owe my soul to the company store.
Ta-da!
Get myself. That was excellent. So next month, Bill is going to figure out how to sing to us. He's got a song that he's been practicing, and we're going to work on it for the whole month, and we're going to see if we can be very creative on how we learn a song. So this is, but that was very good. Janet, thank you very much for allowing your daughter to join our Rotary clubs, and I think it's great.
I paid her.
That's acceptable. I'm just telling you, the laws of the work laws, I don't think they apply during the pandemic. So if you can do black market work during the pandemic, I think it's acceptable because everyone's doing it. So it's not like it's something that just one person's doing. So just brought that up. I don't know why I said that because Stephanie's not here to tell me to keep quiet.
I am here.
Oh. Uh-oh.
And you do realize this is being recorded. I just throwing that.
Oh, well, you know, I just, sometimes I open my mouth and stuff comes out that shouldn't. So we'll go on from there. Do we have any Rotarian guests that are on this list today? Okay, do we have any guests? Stephanie, do you have someone on your lap today? Because I can't tell by your picture.
Mike, we have a guest.
Oh, who is it?
I'm not positive what his name is. Ben?
Okay.
It's me, Tomasz. Hi.
Okay. Good to see you. All right. Are there any announcements from anyone today?
Yeah, Mike, I'm getting ready to send out the dues, and I just want everybody to be aware that the line item, the other line item, is on the dues, so that if you want to make a donation to the foundation or the club or whatever, it's there to do so. And since we have the Venmo account set up, you can pay your dues with a credit card now. So, but if you pay the dues, you will get the with a credit card, you'll get charged that fee. But if you just do the bank transfer, there's no fee. So that's kind of cool because people have been asking for a few years if they could pay by credit card. So be looking in your email for the dues invoices. Check your junk email because sometimes it goes there. And if you haven't been getting club runner emails from the system from everybody, let me know so that we can make sure that we've got the correct email, as the dues get sent out via email. So it's important.
Okay, or you can just take a check to Steve down at the auto store, and he will just take your check or cash. And you know, while you're down there, you might want to buy something. I'm just saying. I know we're not supposed to push anything, but what the heck. So any other club business? I know we have a meeting tonight. Whoever wants to be on whatever it is, Zoom tonight for the auction. Or you can send, I know that Stephanie's not going to be there tonight, but she sent an email to Tim with her opinions, which my opinions and hers are the same because that's the way it works. And so that we can figure out what our fundraising goals should be. And so that's tonight. And Ruth, what time is that? Do you have the times and stuff for that?
I can look in my email.
It's 6 o'clock, Mike.
6 o'clock. Okay, so it's 6 o'clock. And oh, Danielle, these guys are quick. They're putting these little notes up for me to make sure that I know what's going on. 6 o'clock tonight. Is the numbers the same, or is it a new numbers for the Zoom meeting? Does anyone know?
There was supposedly a email going out. I haven't seen it yet. Travis, was Tim going to use yours tonight?
It's the same.
I think the email went out. I sent up a new meeting, and Tim was supposed to send that around.
Okay, I got something from Ruth. I don't know if I got something from Tim. Maybe
Yeah, I got something from Tim, and I think he had the link included. I can look back at it.
Yes, he did.
Okay.
I also got it from Tim.
Okay, and it's got the meeting and the everything on it. So if you have an opinion, this is when it should. This is a meeting that we really need to attend, and I think we really need to do this sooner or later so that we can. So we don't affect May 7th of next year's auction, because I believe the date of our auction for 2021 is May 7th. So we need to be on top of this so that we don't double up on things, and we just do something different a little bit. Any other business? Okay, so
Mike Mosher.
Yes, sir.
When are we gonna know the teams and all that for next year?
It will go out to you over the weekend or first part of next week. I'm finishing it up right now. I'm going to send it out for your approval and then get it to Ruth for the book.
Sounds good.
Okay, anything else? Okay, so I got an email from Jeff that said that the school district is putting together the graduation packet book, and they need to know by Monday if we're doing scholarships, who's getting them, and how much they are. Typically, I would have, had a special board meeting or whatever, but I'm gone this weekend. We need to make a decision today. Steve has allocated $40,000 of the money from this year into basically an account for these scholarships that we haven't spent. There's still approximately $15,000 or it might be $17,000 of money to do all the other stuff we would do. So, Jeff, where are we at actually picking the scholarship people?
I pretty much have it figured out. I got a lot of help from people in the club early in the process, and then just kind of worked on it a little bit yesterday. So I'm looking at probably 12 or 13 Cedar Woolley kids and one Concrete kid. So if we have 40,000, that's fine. Normally, we would conduct interviews with them and kind of rank them in the hierarchy to determine how we allocate the money. But given the situation, I would assume everyone would just get an equal scholarship of the people that we select, rather than, since we're not going to be able to do interviews or get together and figure out that process. So that would, I think that would put it roughly around 3,000 a kid, maybe a little less. So I might have to tweak the numbers a little bit if we're looking at $40,000. So I guess my confusion was that for a long time I thought, so like the 2019 auction would pay for the class of 2020, right? But then last year I thought there was a little confusion about that the 2019 auction paid for the scholarships for the 2019 class. So I didn't know whether the money was available. Hold on a second. Hey, Owen, can you be quiet, please, for a minute? Thank you. Sorry about that.
No, that's great. I love it.
So I just needed to know if their money is there in the budget, or if it's money that was supposed to have been put into the budget. And obviously without the foot race, that's also a bit of a money maker for us, usually for the auction. And also whether there was any named scholarship money that anybody had planned on doing this year. I didn't think there was, but I just wanted to make sure that was taken care of.
So go ahead.
So that's that's where I'm at. I'm happy to get the letters out over the weekend. If the money is there, I just didn't know if the money was there. And then I know that there had been some talk about postponing the payments until second semester, so until January. But again, if the money is there, then I don't see any reason why we wouldn't be able to allocate the funds at the beginning of the fall quarter or semester.
Well, I think the delay, Jeff, was just kind of to leave us some reserves to get us through the year, and with the idea that we were going to have some sort of fundraiser between now and then. I don't know. At this point, we got to make a decision one way or the other how we're going to handle that. And back to your question of whether the money raised at the 2019 auction, it was always my understanding the 2019 auction was raising money for the 2020 kids, the 2020 scholarships. That's the way I had always understand it. I could be wrong.
So it's changed over the last 20 years. Before it was the 19 would pay for the 19. And then we said, well, that's crazy because it's almost the same date. You don't know anyhow. So we tried to budget it to where you had the money so you knew exactly how much of scholarships to give away the next year. It's gone back and forth. Right now, this money came from projects that we didn't do or didn't spend. For an example, there's $5,000 in there because we didn't go buy the things you put on your chest when you're having a heart attack. That was $5,000. There was $15,000 that we didn't spend because the city paid for the concrete down at the basketball courts. So that's 20,000 of it. There was, so there's just youth didn't spend the money because they didn't do the field trips with Tim's project. So this is money we didn't spend. We were going to keep it just in case we couldn't do anything and we still needed to pay McIntyre. And I think there was another thing we're obligated to, and I can't, Boys and Girls Club. No, not Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. So I think those are the two items that we were worried about. Would we be able to generate enough money to pay the obligations going forward? And my feelings are that both of whatever projects need to go over, they could just wait a year. I think my feelings is that if there's ever been a time that kids need a boost to get to college, it's this year. Mentally and physically, they need a shot in the arm. So that's what I'm opening up for discussion right now, and I can be swayed.
Mike, this is Teek. Wasn't some of the discussion about maybe giving the money in the second quarter when you make sure, number one, the college opens, number two, that they go with all the current stuff going on, and number three, that gives us money for our fall fundraising or whatever we do otherwise, so we know we have more money. And I certainly would go along with Jeff's requests there, but it's, the kids, it seems like second quarter would protect us a little bit in multiple ways, but still give the same scholarship.
And I'll second that, Teek. I agree. Exactly what you said, Mike. This is a great time for scholarships. We need to do it. Jeff, how do you feel about making the money awardable in the second quarter? Is there a problem with that? I mean,
No.
We've never done it before, but why not?
No, I have no problem with that. Sorry, again, there's a lot of background noise. No, I think that makes sense. I would just want to make sure that whatever we commit to, whether we commit to it in September or in January, that we're able to do that, but I don't know that we're going to have any change in our financial situation between the end of summer and the beginning of winter, but I'm willing to do whatever the club wants to do. I think either way, I just need a number that I can work with is all I'm worried about.
Well, one of the things that we're going to talk about tonight is how we can fundraise. And this is Tim's area of expertise, or he's going to be leading the meeting. But we're going to talk tonight about whether we've already decided that we're not going to have an auction, a live auction where people attend, and we've got 350 people there. I think that decision's been made. So now they're trying to come up with ideas of how we can make money to do everything that we do. And that'll all be worked on tonight. One idea that's also come up, and I saw Kyle just posted a chat about it, was a virtual foot race. And there's other clubs around the valley that are doing it, other people that are doing things like that, where you get a t-shirt and you enter into a race. Basically you ship a t-shirt out, or maybe you don't even get a t-shirt, but you pay your $25 and then you run on your block. You run the 25 miles and say you did whatever. So I don't know how anybody else feels about that, but it's a fundraiser.
So I knew that there was two things I was supposed to talk about at this meeting today, and that was the second thing, was to have a virtual run. I'm going to participate in it because I'm going to virtually run. So I just want the t-shirt, and I give them some money, and then I'll tell people that I ran. And in my mind, I will run the course, but not physically run it, because I think that's the best way to do a run at my age. So I'm just out there.
Kyle, is this you?
Yeah, can you hear me?
No, you're bad.
Oh, hang on. Switch.
Now I hear you.
Now can you hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, sorry about that. My headphones work every other day. Yeah, so the idea was we've been looking at, over the last week, been looking at a bunch of the virtual races. They're not too hard to run, and we would do t-shirts, but only pre-registered t-shirts. And then if you get it in by a certain date, which is coming up quickly, but like by the 15th, I think I can get the t-shirts delivered for the 4th. And then we'd have some that we'd still have to ship afterwards, which is fine. But we could do stuff like best dressed and, do prizes. And I think we could do some sponsors too. I think Janicki Logging would be a good sponsor, right, Mike?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Anyways,
as long as I don't have to run.
Get some sponsors. Yeah, I ain't running either. But anyways, I think we can make it. And then if they submit photographs, what I've seen recently is photographs. And the other thing that I was going to maybe request would be having Ruth or somebody that's better at social media, or a team that could do the social media posting and all that stuff of as people are running and whatever. But I thought, as we were talking about it around the dinner table, we thought it would be really fun, kind of a Sedro Spirit type event, even though we can't all get together. So that was our thinking over the last 3 days, and we're going to start putting it together, I think. Does that sound good?
Well, Mike, what do you think? I'm all in.
I'm all in too. And you're still planning, Kyle, to do it July 4th, just like we'd normally do it. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah, so we would probably open up the running. We were actually thinking that, like midnight of July 3rd, and have it run all the way to midnight, the end of July 4th, for judging. And then you could have first one to run, whoever wants to run at midnight on the 3rd, go for it. I have prizes for that. I was going to try and be creative about listing out the prizes. That's part of what we need to put on the website. But I've heard that running, that way, if you run on the 3rd or the 4th, it counts. And obviously you'd have to run exactly 5.17 miles because ours is accurately measured, or 2 miles. But that's the idea.
I say go for it.
Hey, Kyle, could you have someone else run it for you and then you take credit?
You mean put up the website and all that stuff?
No, have like I
Oh,
sign up and have someone else run it. I pay someone or
Yeah.
something, whatever it takes, to run it. So we can get more people to run this way.
Yeah, I think that's obviously. Is it the truth? Oh,
Well, yeah, it's a proxy runner. It's the truth.
Yeah, you can buy a proxy runner, and so like instead of $25 for like $40, you could get someone else to run it.
I like it. I'm using Clay Wing. Dubs.
He had a hip replacement. I don't know that he's running.
Hey,
He's
Travis,
probably still
you
faster than I am.
let me back in. This is
Yeah.
All right, so I will talk with Brock. This will be news to Brock as well, but we'll get this started and geared up as fast as I can. I have a graphics artist and I'll employ her to lay out some t-shirt stuff just because we got to get the design into the printers fairly quickly.
Sounds great.
Okay, so that was an agenda that just moved us off to what we need to discuss. Jeff's looking for direction. I don't know what we've been giving out in the past, if $3,000 is a realistic amount or $2,000 or whatever. We have $40,000. He's got 14 people. I just need, at this point, I need a motion and a second, and everyone raise their hand, and that's what we're going to do. So it's open right now. So Mike, you want to make a motion? And
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we award scholarships up to the $40,000 that we have budgeted, allocated for it. Part of the motion is that that money is not awarded till second quarter of the 2021 school year, so it'll be awarded in the January term, however that falls out for the schools, and that Jeff will be in charge of allocating that $40,000 how he sees fit.
Okay, I need a, so we got a second. So Stephanie always tells me that when we vote, you can vote yes, and then I have to ask if you want to vote no, because usually I just let everyone vote yes, and then I don't listen to anyone else. So in this case, since we're spending $40,000, all in favor, wave your hand. Okay. Somebody obviously can take a look at that at some point. And then all opposed to spending this money for scholarships. This is obviously, you have to raise your hand in front of everybody. If you're opposed, raise your hand. Okay, so I don't have everybody on here. Ruth or Christine, did you guys figure it out how people voted?
Well, if you click participants, you can raise your hand or check yes or no. So people could do it that way, and then I can look at it.
Oh, okay. I see. So if I go like a check, did you see a check? Okay. So that way Christine has an actual thing of what people were doing. So Mike, you checked on, and then you checked off. So I don't know what happened.
There you go. There it is.
Okay. So, so I think that is, you know what? We just have to figure out how to raise money, and some of us need to figure out how to give money more than we normally would give. So I think that we owe it to this community to do whatever we can.
Hey, Mike, can I just
go ahead?
All right, I think people are having a hard time finding the check mark. Once you click on participants, it's down in the bottom left. There's a yes and no check mark. It's not next to your name. You have to click it down below.
Okay. I like this. I'm not saying I like Zoom. I like that we're actually using it, that we're actually getting things done in a manner that the community is still going to benefit from Rotary being in Sedro Woolley. So that, to me, is a big deal. Since we've talked about the two items that I had on my list, and our program today didn't make it, I'm opening it up for Happy Bucks. And it goes back to the same thing. You can just give you can do it on whatever that Venmo or whatever it is, or you can just take cash to Steve and he will deposit it. So at this point, if anyone has something that makes them happy that they're doing during this stay safe, stay at home, this is your opportunity to make the rest of us feel good. Okay? So I'm gonna mute myself and listen to everyone else.
All right, Tomash, we got a puppy.
Nice.
Cute puppy.
Happy Bucks. Actually, there's another way of paying. I think I sent a check just to the post office box, the Rotary post office box number, which I think is 726. So I just sent it in the mail, if that's okay. But my happy comment is that over the years with the Rotary auctions, Dan Sims typically has donated shrubs, including rhododendrons, and usually in bloom, and which means that my whole backyard is fully in bloom right now, and it's absolutely beautiful, mainly due to Rotary auction. That's my happy statement.
Mike, this is Phil Brockman. Just want to, I'm happy because I think our school district and community, we're all working together. We're serving more than 2,000 breakfasts and lunches a day. We're over 80,000 total. We're working with Helping Hands and doing some of that work as well, providing some childcare as well. But I think it's a lot of people are hurting out there, and I'm just happy that we're able to help in that way.
Mike, Teak here. I'm happy for the help your brother John gave and Kim Van Loo, and I made a whole new garden area for my wife. So she's extremely happy. Number two, I think my money for the auction will be donated to the Sedro Woolley Foundation, and I like to contribute at least part of that to my international projects in Copan. And I'm happy as a Rotarian and a friend of those folks that different people in the IPA are contributing to help these folks eat while Copan's totally shut down, and a lot of folks have no income down there. And I guess I'll owe a lot of happy bucks, but I'm happy for being able to get out and go hiking with my son, James, who's a official Sedro Woolley fireman now. Not Sedro, Woolley, Seattle. My wife yelled at me from the background.
Stephanie, do you want to say anything about what your children do every day, afternoon with our social distancing?
Sure. I'm happy that I live 2.5 blocks from my parents' house, and every afternoon, not after evening, after dinner, my kids and I walk down to my parents' house, and my mom gives them dessert. They call it goodbye treats. When they leave, they get a treat from my parents. And my mom's gotten really creative on what they're getting. It used to be just like a piece of gum or a Hershey's Kiss or something before COVID, and now it's strawberry shortcake or cookies or hot cocoa with marshmallows. So we've had a lot of back porch treats over the last couple months.
Mike, can we all come over?
Absolutely, you can come over, but you have to bring your own beer if you're going to come over and you're over 6. So. Okay, so Christine Kilcup just took the number. Sorry, Christine, but whatever. It passed like 30 something to whatever. So we are going to fulfill the scholarships. And Jeff, you are there were, so it's 30 to 6. There were 6 no votes. Jeff, you have the marching orders to give away the money in the second quarter or semester for next year.
They weren't no's. They were just, they didn't vote.
Okay.
That's all.
That's great. I mean, thank you for voting or not voting. That's just the way America is. You don't have to do anything, but you can choose to do something. Phil, I don't know who that goes to at the school district, but you can tell whoever it is that Jeff's going to get with them. So
let him know.
And I wanted to bring up one more thing. My neighbor who lives on Talcott and Township, she has set up a table, and it's free food. I guess it was in the newspaper yesterday. And I saw 2 kids that really just looked like homeless kids come up with backpacks. They put some stuff in their backpacks. They didn't take it all. They kind of took some stuff. And then 20 minutes later, a car pulled in and took a whole box of food and put it on the table. And it's kind of like the Talcott Township Food Bank. People leave food and people pick up food, and I think it's pretty cool. She just thought that this was an idea, and right now if you go by there, it's kind of crazy. In the afternoon, the table is full. And if you come at 6 o'clock in the morning, the table is kind of empty. So there's people that come all night long and pick up food. So it's just an interesting thing. So I just wanted to bring that up, that the food bank can use food, but there's also people that are just picking up food on Talcott Street. So if there's anything else, let's hear it now.
Just to remind everybody of the meeting tonight at 6 o'clock to talk about fundraising for the next year. Tim Howland sent a link out to everybody earlier in the week, I guess. Please join us if you've got any thoughts or ideas that are going to help us out.
Okay, thank you guys very much.
One other comment from me. You mentioned that I'm going to be leading the song next month. everybody knows about my singing ability, and I am willing to not sing if sufficient donations are made to our project funds.
Okay, so I think what we have to do is we've got to set a budget. If we can get $50 Venmo'd to the club, Bill McCann does not have to sing, but someone will have to keep track of that somehow. But Bill's got a really good song to sing if he, you know, and the thing is, maybe we let him sing next week and it'll be easier to decide how much we're willing to pay not to hear him for the rest of the month, because we're going to sing the same song every week for the month of June. So we'll have to work on that one. Okay, Bill?
We'll sing it one way or the other.
We'll sing it one way or the other. Yes, but it'll be all of us versus just you. So
this is Phil Mahalik, and I took $100 over the other day, and I see that it's well spent.
Good to see you, Phil. Anything else you have for the good of the order?
No, I'm glad if it keeps Bill quiet, it's worth $100.
Hey, Mike, I was just going to say that, you know, guys, look around the screen, see who's on this call today. If you see Rotarians that you think should be on this call, reach out to them, talk to them, make sure they know how to do it. Number one, make sure that they're not missing it for some other reason. But check on your fellow Rotarians and make sure they're okay. Everybody's doing okay.
Okay.
If there is anybody technically that's struggling.
And like I said,
go ahead.
And like I said in the email that I sent out too, you know, I heard from at least one person who didn't even know that we were Zooming. You know who you are, until someone happened to visit with them and let them know that we were having this meeting every Thursday, and their email, as it turns out, hadn't been updated, had been changed. So not only does it help to have your email updated for Christine to get a hold of you for invoices, it also helps to get you current information about what we're doing. So if you haven't seen any one or two of your friends on here, you know, it might not hurt to reach out and just double check their email. And if it's wrong, you can just email me their correct email address and I'll update it.
Okay, one last thing before we leave. So next week is the first of the month. No. Oh,
No.
We got 2 more weeks. Okay, thank you, Bill, for straightening me out. But the 1st of June, which is in 2 weeks, excuse me, I want people to think about if we should write another check to the food bank for June. So we'll figure that out, the amount and everything, but I just want people to think about that. We should probably be thinking about this on a monthly basis going forward. And we can take it out of fines or whatever, but we as Rotarians need to think about the community at that level too. So with that, unless there's something else, I want to adjourn the meeting. Anything? Thank you. We're adjourned, and we'll see whoever wants to be there at 6 o'clock tonight. Goodbye.
That's what I was waiting for. You should be able to, leave the meeting.